today we're going to be doing drawing a diagram, and this is word problems, and I know that a lot of you guys always get stuck on this, but you really have to start learning how to visualize a way to figure this out and a way to draw it. So go ahead and get your notebooks out and let's write this down. So 10.7, drawing a diagram. So there's always 3 steps. What's the first step? What do you know? So let's write that down. Okay, the second step is going to be to plan a diagram to make. This is where you're trying to think and trying to visualize, how can I draw this out? How can I draw a diagram to help me figure out what they're asking or what they're giving us, and then what more information do you need? So let's write that down. Okay, that's the brainstorming part. And then step 3, solve. All right, so in your book, they gave you an example, or they gave you a problem. Okay, it says, Miguel and Heather are building a model of human lungs for the science fair. Together, they have worked 3/4 of an hour. Miguel has worked twice as long as Heather has. How long has each student worked? So, the first thing, what do you know? The story problem gives you information. You need to either write that down, circle it, or underline it. You need to know, what do you know? What are they telling you? So, there's 2 things that we know. So this is example 1. The first thing you know is that together they worked for 3/4 of an hour. Now, the second thing you know is that Miguel worked for twice as long as Heather worked. So Miguel has worked twice as long as Heather has. I'm going to put 2 times as long. That means twice as long. As Heather. All right, so easy peasy. You don't have to do any thinking so far. All you're doing is writing down, underline, circling, highlighting, what do you know? The second part, plan. You can draw a diagram to help you solve this problem. We need to figure out how to use parts, okay? So 3 parts out of 4, and we're going to explain this really quick. That's how long they work together, and then whatever that is, it's twice as long for Miguel. So whatever picture we draw, we need to do twice that amount for Miguel, okay? So in the book here, it shows you how to solve that using strips. Draw 2 strips, make 1 strip twice as long the length of the other. So they have here Miguel with this long strip here, and then Heather with half of that strip. Okay, and then there. All right. So together, they have 3/4 of an hour. That's what it told me, okay? Again, we're figuring out how to draw this, but I haven't solved anything, okay? I just showed you exactly what the problem had shown me. Together, they worked 3/4 of an hour. Together, both of them, it's 3/4 of an hour. Miguel worked twice as long. See how this one is twice as long as this one? Miguel was twice as long as Heather. So again, I haven't solved anything. I just drew a picture of that's representing what they told me. Okay, so now let's solve. Okay, so it says there are 3 small strips that make 3/4. 1, 2, 3. 3 parts. Each small strip is 1/4 because 3 unit fractions, these are unit fractions here, of 1/4 make up 3/4. So each of these we said were 1/4. 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 make up this 3/4 of an hour. So now it says, the original question is asking you, how long has each student worked? Okay, so now we can see here how long each student worked. Heather, that's the easy part. Heather worked for 1/4 of an hour. Okay, it's right here. Now Miguel worked for 1/4 of an hour plus 1/4 of an hour. You know how to add those. 1/4 plus 1/4 is equal to 2/4. Hold on, 2/4 is not it. We need to simplify. 2/4 is equal to 1/2. 1/2 of an hour. Okay. So basically I'm saying that 1/4 of an hour plus 1/2 of an hour is equal to 3/4 of an hour, and that is true. Okay? So look back at your problem. Is the answer reasonable? I think so. I just explained. 1/4 of an hour plus 1/2 of an hour is equal to 3/4 of an hour. That is reasonable. It makes sense. If I were to get, let's say, 1/3 plus 9/6, I don't know, does that sound like it's reasonable that both of those together would equal 3/4 of an hour? No. So make sure you're looking back. Did you get an answer that makes sense? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you look at that and you're like, how did I get that answer? That doesn't make any sense. Scratch it, start all over, okay? Check your work, make sure that it makes sense. All right, we're gonna try another one. So on page 271, guided practice, there's 2 problems there, 1 and 2. We're gonna do both of those just so you guys make sure that you're understanding how to draw your diagrams. So let's erase this. All right. Let's do example 2, which is number 1 on the on the book. Okay, so example 2. Okay, it says, Josh worked for 3/4 of an hour on a science fair project. That's 3 times as long as Chester worked. How many hours did they work in all? All right, so that's a lot of words. So let's write them down. What do you know?